Under surveillance this morning, on the edge of a sweep.
I feel confident that we will have a House majority in control of the Republicans and that Mike Johnson can be reelected as Speaker of the House. We have a 220-seat majority now, just two more than the 218 that is required for control. And I think somewhere in the low 220s is where we'll end up in the next few days.
So here's the latest. Control of the House still up for grabs with 25 races yet to be called. The current count has Democrats with 199 and Republicans with 211. Rob Casey of Signum Global Advisors writing, broadly speaking, we see Trump beginning his second term unrestrained. Republican trifecta, Supreme Court majority, popular mandate. This may be a once-in-a-generation chance for Republicans to enact sweeping change. Rob joins us now for more. Rob, good morning.
Morning.
Can we start with the trifecta? You think it gets done? What kind of margins are you looking for?
Really tight margins. I mean, it's going to be as tight, if not tighter, than what we're seeing currently. Of the 25 seats still to be called, I think Republicans very easily win or comfortably win 9 of them. So that gets them to 219. There are other seats Democrats will win, and there are about 5 or 6 seats that are absolutely toss-ups at this point. So the best Republicans can hope for, I think, is 220, maybe 221, but it looks a lot like it does today.
House Majority Whip Tom Emmer this morning in Punchbowl News says, I don't care if it's 218, 219, 220. I don't give a damn. As long as we have the majority, we're going to be successful. But if you have 218, basically everyone becomes a king, no?
Yeah, everybody becomes a king. I think it's worse for Elise Stefanik, who would like to be appointed somewhere else, and they don't want to deal with a special election in New York. At this point, that would take away their majority if it was that slim. But, I mean, frankly, Donald Trump is president-elect, which means in the House, Donald Trump is king. I mean, they are going to take their shots not from Mike Johnson or anybody else. They're going to take them from Trump.
So besides Elise Stefanik, who may go over to the UN, what does the leadership look like in the House?
I think it's Speaker Johnson. I think it's Speaker Johnson will stay in his seat. He did what he had to do. I mean, he retained the Republican majority, very likely at this point. And you know, other than that, I frankly don't think it matters very much because I think this will be a session in which legislation is done top down. It'll come from Trump. It'll come from the White House. And the Senate, very likely to fall in line. The House, probably even more so.
So what's the first order of business, the border or taxes?
I think it's the border. I think it's oil and gas, both through executive action. I think taxes will take a little bit longer because we will see, I mean, it's not a budget negotiation between Republicans and Democrats. It'll be a budget negotiation between, you know, the center and the right of Republicans. And we'll see that done through budget reconciliation. That'll take a number of months.
What will the immigration proposal look like? Is it going to be mass deportations?
I think we will hear about mass deportations. I think it's very unlikely we'll see that in the short term, frankly, because it just requires so many billions and billions of dollars to do that there isn't an obvious path forward for mass deportations. I think very, very likely what we see is targeted deportations of, you know, illegal immigrants who have committed crimes on U.S. soil. We'll get, you know, pictures and videos of immigrants being taken across the border in buses, and we're very likely to see remain in Mexico reinstated, but deporting tens of millions of illegal immigrants, really, really hard to do without additional funding from Congress, which would take a lot longer.
You know, one of the most interesting conversations that we've had, I thought, was Representative French Hill yesterday, where we were talking about the budget deficit and his concern about it. And he is a Republican. He is a House member. He is a supporter of Trump. And he poured a lot of cold water over some of the proposals that we heard from Elon Musk and the feasibility of cutting $2 trillion of the budget so easily. So how much pushback will there be within even the Republican Party as far as expanding the deficit to the degree that some people project that the plans would do?
I think there will be some pushback, but I think almost necessarily we will see an extension of the Trump tax cuts, all of them, not just some of them. And you know, there really isn't any obvious spending to cut commensurate with that level of tax cuts. So otherwise put, I think we are going to see an expansion of the deficit almost necessarily.